This conference will now be
So
recorded.
your voice is low, sir.
Now. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about the declarative integration, which is used to share the records between the two Salesforce organizations. So between the two Salesforce organizations, if you want to share some records, if we want to share the data, then how can we do the integration between the two organizations? By using declarative integrations. That means without writing any code, without using any programming languages, just by using some configuration features, just by using some mouse clicks, how can we integrate the two Salesforce organizations so that we can able to extend the data between those organizations? We'll see practically. For example, let me explain the situation when this Salesforce to Salesforce integration will came into the picture. Now, assume that already we have discussed in our initial classes as part of server instances that Salesforce is allocating the memory space for each and every organization in the associated regions available server. Salesforce is allocating some amount of memory space inside the associated regions available server for each and every organization. Like for example, I have a server. I have a server. Assume that this is some AP17 server. AP17 server or instance. AP17 server or AP17 instance. Server or instance both are same. Now, so inside this AP17 server, Salesforce is going to be allocating the memory space for more than 8,000 organizations. For example, assume that today a customer showed interest to utilize Salesforce services. Today, a customer showed interest to utilize Salesforce services. For that customer, Salesforce is going to be allocating some amount of memory space. For example, this customer is some TCS. Customer 1, some TCS. TCS organization. So now for this organization, Salesforce is allocating a unique identification ID, a unique identification number that is called as organization ID. So that organization ID will be having an 18 characters alphanumerical number, which is always starts with a 00D. That you know that. So for example, for this organization, Salesforce is allocating the memory space inside this AP17 server by allocating that organization ID as 00D, some 334455. Assume that this is the ID of this organization. And then one more customer showed interest. So this is the first customer 1, that is some TCS. So this is the organization 1, which has been created by the Salesforce. Now today, one more customer showed interest, like as some IBM. IBM showed interest, so that for that customer 2, Salesforce is allocating some amount of memory space. Customer 2, that is for example some IBM. For this IBM, Salesforce is allocating some amount of memory space in this particular region's available server, so that in this memory space, the IBM organization can install their own application, they can store their own data, their own records, files, documents, everything. So for this organization, Salesforce is allocating a unique identification number that is called as organization ID, so which also starts with a 00D, and then this organization ID is some 556677. So this is the second organization. Now, So one more customer showed interest today to utilize that Salesforce services. One more customer. Now, one more customer. So now this customer is customer 3. Customer 3. Now this is some Tata Telecommunications. Tata Telecommunications. So now for this particular customer also, because of the TCS reference, Tata Telecommunications organization also one of the partner, one of the customer of Salesforce. They are also utilizing our services as part of the telecommunication division. They are using our Salesforce instance also to store all their customers' information, the calls information, everything. Now, so in this case, for this organization, Salesforce is allocating that organization ID, that is 00D, so 113377. Assume that this ID has been allocated by Salesforce. Now, so for this organization, Salesforce has allocated some amount of memory space over here. Like that, so many customers have showed interest. Okay, like that, so many customers showed interest. So within a single server, Salesforce is allocating the memory space for 8,000 plus organizations. You know this concept. In our initial concept of Salesforce, as part of server instances, already we have discussed about this. Now, so now inside this AP17 server, okay, inside this AP17 server, or it may be some different region servers also. So now we are having so many organizations. We are having so many organizations. So now in each and every server, we are having almost 8,000 organizations are available over here. Now, so inside this AP17 server, we have the customer 1, that means some TCS. But the TCS Salesforce has allocated some amount of memory space. So now in this particular memory space, the TCS people can install their own applications, whatever they want. They can store their data, their businesses information, personal information, and their partners information, files, documents, everything they can able to store inside this. And the customer 2 is nothing but some IBM, where for this IBM, Salesforce is allocating some amount of memory space in this region server. And then in this server, in this memory space, IBM people can store their own data, their own records, documents, and they can install their own applications also. And so now customer 3, Tata Telecommunications. Okay, Tata Telecommunications. This is also a part of this TCS group only. This is also part of TCS group, but this is a separate organization over here. They're purely into the telecommunication. They're into the software development. They're into the telecommunication. They're into the software development. So in this case, Tata Telecommunications is also one of our customer who is utilizing our services. Because so now Salesforce services are utilizing with the different customers. All the domains, all the domain customers are utilizing not only telecommunication, not only technology related, not only manufacturing, everybody. Like when you go to that Salesforce customers, when you go to that Salesforce customer success stories, then we can able to see the various customers who are utilizing this Salesforce services. Different customers are utilizing that Salesforce services. Like the Pidilite, they are using this Salesforce services here. So now Edelweiss Global Wealth Management, they are using this. Clear Trip. So this is also one of the travel management. So they're also using this one. Like that here we are having the various customers here. Like as here we are having the so White Hat and the Watfix, Safe Express. These are into the transportation, the logistics. And we are having the DMI Finance. They are into purely finance domain here. Nothing but it's a like as they are going to be offering some loans to the various businesses, small scale industries for the home loans. They are going to be offering the loans facilities to their customers. We are having Concrete here, and then Startup Wala. This is also one of the organization over here. And then we are having Seat. They are purely into that manufacturing of the tires. Godrej. And then we are having the Liberty Shade. Like that, we are having so many customers are available. Different customers. Okay, different customers. Now Pidilite, they are also into the manufacturing over here. And then we are having Franklin Templeton. They're into the investment banking. Toyota, they're into the manufacturing. And then we are having that NVC, they're into the media and enterprises. And we are having Redbus, they're into the travel management, hospitality, like that. Here, different customers are available who are utilizing that Salesforce services. So that Salesforce services are not only utilizing by the IT people, not only the manufacturing people, every domain customers, everybody can utilize, all the organization can utilize that. The facility is available, so that here so many customers are utilizing Salesforce services. Now as part of this AP17 server, Salesforce is providing the memory space for the TCS, nothing but they're into the techno software development. They're providing the memory space for IBM. They're into the manufacturing of the various hardware devices. And then we are having the Tata telecommunication. They're into the telecommunication domain. Vodafone is also utilizing the Salesforce services, especially. Basically, Vodafone is into the telecommunication. Vodafone people are utilizing Salesforce services since very long time. Like that here, we are having so many customers are available who are utilizing the Salesforce services. So for each and every organization, Salesforce is allocating some amount of memory space. Now, in this case, few customers may be partners. Okay, few customers may be partners. They're having some, these are the part of the group of companies. These are the part of group of companies. Like when you go to the TCS and the Tata Telecommunication, both are comes under to a single group, Tata Group. These two are comes under to the Tata Group over here. So now here in this case, what we can do? Now these two are the partners. Okay, these two are the partners who are the part of a group. Who are the part of a group. These two are comes under the Tata Group. Like as TCS is also one of that organization, Tata Telecommunications, Tata Capital, who are offering some financial services. Now Tata Chroma, they're offering some electronical items. Okay, like that, these are all are comes under the Tata Group. So now in this case, these two organizations are partners. Okay, these two are the partners. Now, when coming to the partners here, they would like to share the information. They would like to share this information. They would like to communicate with each other. This is one separate organization. Okay, this is one separate organization. This is one separate organization. Now they would like to communicate with each other. How can we make these two organizations can communicate with each other? That already told you in the initial classes itself. So now even though we are having multiple organizations inside a single server, one organization's data cannot be accessible with another organization. Now the customer one data can't be accessible by the customer two, customer two's data can't accessible by the customer three. Like that, one organization's data cannot be accessible by the another organization. One organization's application cannot be accessible with another organization. So because for each and every organization, Salesforce has given a proper security boundaries. Because of the security boundaries, one organization's data cannot be accessible by the another organization. Now, if you want to make the two organizations can communicate with each other, if you want to make this two organizations can communicate with each other, then the only solution is integration. The only solution is integration. If you want to make two organizations should be communicate with each other, then the only solution is integration. Through integration only it is possible to make, we can pass the data from organization 1 to organization 2, organization 2 to organization 1. Like that here, both organizations can communicate with each other. So now here in this case, we have two organizations are available. Now organization 1, that means customer 1, organization 3, these two are the partners. These two are comes under the same group of companies. They comes under the Tata Group. So in this case, these two are the partners who are working together for their organization. So in this case, what they want to do, they would like to exchange some data over here. TCS people wants to share some data to the Tata Telecommunications. They would like to accept those records. They would like to process that. So in this case, how can we make these two organizations can communicate with each other? So in this case, if both are Salesforce organizations, then in order to provide the communication between these two, in order to integrate these two, Salesforce has given a facility that is called as Salesforce to Salesforce integration. Now, In order to make the two Salesforce organizations can communicate with each other, Salesforce has given a feature called as Salesforce to Salesforce. That means without writing any additional code, without using any programming languages, without using any additional APIs, like as it may be REST API, it may be SOAP API, it may be anything. Without using any third-party APIs, we can able to have the integration between the two Salesforce organizations just by using some mouse pointers. Just by using the mouse clicks, we can able to integrate the two Salesforce organization. The facilities are available. So that now the customer 1 can share some records to the customer 3, customer 3 can accept it, and then they can able to process it. So in this case, how can we make these two Salesforce organizations can communicate with each other? How can we establish the communication between these two Salesforce organizations by using Salesforce to Salesforce integration? Now let's see practically in this case. Now, in this case here, for example, you can raise a question. Suppose, for example, sir, I'm having a third-party system. I'm having a third-party application here. A Java application is there. I'm having a Java application. Or I'm having an SAP application also, whatever, anything. Then if we want to integrate with this Java application, then what we can do? If we want to integrate with this Java application, the only solution is integration. Only solution is integration. Through the tool also we can integrate, or by using the programming also we can integrate. But Salesforce to Salesforce will not work in this place. Salesforce to Salesforce will not work in this place because both are not Salesforce organization. Of course, one is Salesforce organization, second one is a Java-based application. It may be it may be SAP application, Oracle application, anything, whatever. If both are heterogeneous, then at that time, Salesforce to Salesforce integration won't work. Salesforce to Salesforce integration will be getting work between to map the integration between the two Salesforce organizations. Both should be the Salesforce organization only. Then only we can able to use Salesforce to Salesforce integration. That possibility is available. So from this organization, we can pass some records, and then in this organization, we can able to access those records as well. That facility is available. So in this case, how can we establish the communication or how to integrate these two Salesforce organizations? Now let's see practically in this case.
So can't we integrate Salesforce with different servers, Salesforce organization?
Any server. So in this case, not only within the server, here I'm showing that AP17 has having both organizations. Suppose this customer 1 TCS is from AP17 server, Tata Telecommunication is from NA21 server. It may be any server here from Salesforce. Any region also. Okay, but both should be Salesforce organizations. That may be any region, any server also, both should be Salesforce organizations. That's it. Then we can be able to use that Salesforce to Salesforce integration.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, so now here in this case, here how can we map this communication between the two Salesforce organizations? Now, so let me take the two Salesforce accounts. Okay, let me take the two Salesforce accounts. That means I need the two Salesforce organization. For this one, I need a separate organization. For this one, I need a separate organization. Then I will show you how can we map the communication between these two, how to establish the connection between these two organizations, and how can we exchange the information. Now let's see practically in this case. Now, so now here in this case, I would like to take two Salesforce organizations. Suppose, for example, in this case, whenever we are going to map in the connection server, here we can able to specify that. I want to pass the data from customer 1 to customer 3. Nothing but TCS people wants to share some information, some records to that Tata Telecommunication group. So TCS will be the source, and then Tata Telecommunication will be the target. So this is called as publisher, this is called as subscriber. Okay, so now this is the source. We are having this as source, and we are having this as target. This is the source. This is also called as publisher. This is also called as provider. Okay, it is also called as provider. Any of the terminology. Here we are going to be calling it as target. This is also called as subscriber. Nothing but who is utilizing that. And this will be consumer. That means who is consuming, who is utilizing that. Somebody is providing, somebody is consuming. Nothing but provider is nothing but the parent, and then consumer is nothing but the child, like that. Now, different terminology here. So now source and target is normal terminology. But as part of integrations, we are going to be using this publisher. Publisher is going to be publishing. They are going to be exposing. And then subscriber is going to subscribing, nothing but they're utilizing that. They're accessing. That means provider is going to be providing some resources. Consumer is going to be consuming, nothing but utilizing those resources. Like that here, these are the terminology. As part of integration, we have to use the terminology like as source or target, or publisher or subscriber, or provider or consumer, or server or client, like that. Now, in this case, this is also called as server. For example, here, as part of the terminology here. We can say, you can, for your understanding here, I'm indicating this. This is also called as server. So now this might be called as client. So server is providing the information, client is accessing the information, like that. So now in this case, whenever if you want to map the connection between the two Salesforce organization, and then in order to pass the data, in order to exchange the information between the two Salesforce organizations, we are using Salesforce to Salesforce integration feature. By using Salesforce to Salesforce integration feature, we can able to establish the communication between the two Salesforce organizations, so that we can able to pass the records from one organization to another organization, nothing but publisher to provider to the consumer. So the provider is going to be providing some information, and the subscriber is going to be consuming that information. Now, then how can we map this connection between these two organizations? How to pass the data without writing any additional code, okay, without using any programming languages, just by using some mouse clicks, we'll see practically now. Then how can we implement this functionality over here? Now let's see practically in this case. Now, so in this case, whenever if you want to establish the communication, or if you want to pass the data between the two organizations, first of all, we need this two organizations first. First of all, we need a source, we need a target organization. Okay, we need the two organizations first. Now, so as a step one, we need the two Salesforce organizations. We need the two Salesforce organization. One will be acting as the provider, second will be acting as the consumer. Nothing but publisher and subscriber. Now, we need the two Salesforce organization to be used to share the records. From one organization to another. In order to share the records from one organization to another organization, we need two Salesforce organizations first. So let me take the two Salesforce organizations over. Now, first of all, let me take a provider or a publisher. I'm taking one Salesforce organization. Now, I'm taking up one Salesforce organization. Assume that I'm using training that batch 331. Training that batch 331. Or else any organization, whatever the two organizations that you can take. Suppose if both of you are friends, okay, if you both of you are friends, two people are there, okay, the first person one is having one Salesforce account, second person is having the one more Salesforce account, then you can take your two organizations also, no problem. Any organization from any region, any server, no problem. You can take that. So now, for example, I would like to take this two organizations over. Now, so now here in this case, I'm going to be using this Salesforce organization, training batch 331. Okay, training batch 331. This is one organization. I would like to take it as source. So this is my organization over here, which is a source. Training batch 331. training batch 331@cis.com. This is one organization, which is the provider and the source. And then I'm going to be indicating that consumer or subscriber. I would like to take another organization, training that batch. I would like to go with that 332@cis.com. Training that batch 332@cis.com. So these are the two organizations here. Okay, these are the two organizations which I would like to use. So now here I'm having two Salesforce accounts are available. Training that batch 331, which is a publisher. Training that batch 332, which is a subscriber. Let me log in into my subscriber account also. Okay, nothing but training batch 332. So now, this is my second organization over here. Observe this one. This is an AP17 server. Okay, so this is an AP17 server, and the provider is in AP16 server. So the provider is in AP16 server, and the consumer is in AP17 server over here. Now, so provider is in AP16 server, and the consumer is in AP17 server. We have two Salesforce organizations are available here, two Salesforce accounts. So now to log in into that provider, I'm using this. This is the username, and I'm having the password. And then to log in into this consumer account, I'm having this username, and then I'm having the password. So now for the provider organization, memory space has been available inside the AP16 server. For the consumer organization, memory space is available in the AP17 server. Now, so now these are the two organizations are available here. Now, I would like to pass the data from the batch 331 to batch 332. That means from one organization to another organization, I would like to pass the records. How to pass the records information over here? So whenever if you want to pass the information, then first of all, we have to establish a connection, right? Yes. Suppose, for example, if you want to talk to some person, then we should have some relation. It may be because the father and son also, it may be like as brothers also, it may be friends also, anyone. There should be some relation. Then only we can able to exchange our information here, or else we are not going to be exchanging over. Then, in this case here, we would like to have some connection between these two organizations so that we can able to pass the records from one organization to another organization. Then how can we establish the connection between these two organizations over? Now, suppose for example, assume that. So now assume that I'm planning to get married. So that here we have selected a match and my marriage date also has been fixed. So then whenever you are inviting the people, what you are going to do, we are going to be preparing some invitation cards, and then we are going to the people's location and we are going to be inviting the people by giving some invitation. There is an invitation card is available, wedding invitation card. So that here we are going to be inviting the people by giving that invitation card. Whenever you are giving this invitation card, those people will respond to you. Oh, okay, definitely will come to your marriage. That means they'll be accepting that. Like the similar way here also, because each and every organization will be having its own data. Each and every organization is having its own information, its own records are available, its own applications are available. So in this case here, whenever if you want to map the connection between these two organizations, first of all, we have to send an invitation. First of all, we have to send one invitation from the provider to consumer. Nothing but provider has to send an invitation to the consumer. Boss, I want to establish the connection with you. So now this is my invitation request here. Please accept my invitation so that we can able to share the information. If the consumer has accepted the invitation, then only we can establish the connection between these two. Then in this case, how can we send the invitation over here? Okay, how can we send the invitation? We have to send the invitation, okay, to that particular, okay, the provider to consumer. So in this case, as a step 2, we need to send the invitation. We need to send the invitation from provider to consumer. Provider to consumer. How can we send the invitation over here? For that one, as part of this step, as part of this invitation here. So now what we need to do now inside the provider organization, okay, inside the provider organization over here. Now, inside this provider organization, what we can do over here? Now, in this case, both the connection, nothing but both the organizations should be get agreed. Okay, both the organizations should be agreed. Like the provider should ready to send the information, consumer should be ready to receive the information. That means, boss, I'm okay, I'm ready with you, I'm okay with you. So please provide some information. I'm going to be accepting that. So it will be giving some response. In this case, how can we provide the invitation over here? For that one, as part of this invitation steps. Now, in that one, the step 1, okay, in that one, as per that step 1 over here, enable the Salesforce to Salesforce, Salesforce to Salesforce settings in both organizations. Enable Salesforce to Salesforce settings in both the organizations. In both the organizations, we have to enable the Salesforce to Salesforce settings. Now, so now in this case, where is the Salesforce to Salesforce settings option is available? Then we have to go to your setup menu. Go to the build menu in the left panel. Click on customize. Click on Salesforce to Salesforce. Salesforce link and expand it. Click on Salesforce to Salesforce, the settings link. Settings link. And then select the checkbox. And select the checkbox. Enable Salesforce to Salesforce. Okay. Select the checkbox. Enable Salesforce to Salesforce. Enable Salesforce to Salesforce link. Checkbox and then click on save. Click on save. That means in both the organizations here. Okay, in both the organizations, we have to enable Salesforce to Salesforce. That means one Salesforce organization can send, second Salesforce organization can receive. So as a step 2, okay, as a step 2, first of all, we have to enable Salesforce to Salesforce setting link inside your organization. That means in both the provider and the consumer also both. Okay, now that means here they are going to be agreeing here that so one is going to be providing, second one is consuming that. So both should be agreed. Now, so in this case, how can we enable here? Let me go to that consumer. This is my consumer organization. Let's go to that setup menu. Go to the build menu in the left panel. Click on customize. You will be having an option called as Salesforce to Salesforce. Expand that option Salesforce to Salesforce. And in that one, you will be having an option called as Salesforce to Salesforce settings link. Click on this the Salesforce to Salesforce setting link. Click on this edit button. Select the checkbox. Salesforce to Salesforce setting checkbox has to be get enabled. Okay, Salesforce to Salesforce settings checkbox has to be get enabled. Select this one. I'm going to be enabling this. Now click on save. We have enabled that. Nothing but this organization will be able to receive, okay, the data. It can able to send the data, it can able to receive the data. Now the organization name is, this is this particular organization over here. Now, like the similar way in the consumer provider also. Go to the provider organization. Here also. Go to that build menu, customize. Go to the Salesforce to Salesforce settings link. Here already I have enabled that over here. Already I have enabled that organization. For my previous batch, already I have enabled over here. Now, so now here both the organizations are enabled. Both the organizations are ready to send the data here. So now the provider is ready to send the data and then consumer is ready to send the data. Just they have agreed. Now we need to map the connection over here. Connection is not yet established. Because I'm having so many Salesforce accounts are available here. Then who is sending, who is receiving? So that we have to provide the invitation over here. Now, so in this case here, what needs to be done? Now, as a step 2 inside this, as a step 2. Now, inside the provider organization, okay, inside the provider organization, create one account record and contact inside the provider. I'm clearly indicating to you over here. Inside the provider organization, create an account record and a contact record. Create an account record and contact. Here I'm indicating. Create an account record with the required field values. Second, create a related contact record. Create a related contact record. Inside this contact here, now we need to specify the consumer organization's email ID. Consumer organization's email ID inside the contact records email. Okay, that means I would like to send the invitation over here. I would like to send the invitation. That invitation request to be sending to whom? To the consumer. How can we send? Like for example, come to a general scenario. Whenever we are going to be inviting to the people for a marriage or for a occasion, whatever, by using some wedding invitation card, on that invitation card we are writing that particular person name. Okay, to some so and so, nothing but I'm inviting to so and so people. Okay, like some Ramesh Kumar and family, please attend my marriage on so and so date. That means we are writing that people's name, nothing but to whom we are inviting. Like the similar way here also, I'm sending one invitation to whom? To that particular client. How to identify that client for that one? Consumer. This is the consumer. How can we send the invitation based on that organization's email ID? Because here, whenever I'm creating this Salesforce account, so now upon creating this Salesforce account, on that registration form, whatever the email ID is available, to that email ID here I need to send the invitation, so that the consumer's organization email ID, okay, consumer organization's email ID, I would like to collect that email ID, I would like to place inside my contact records email field, so that here whenever I'm sending the invitation, that invitation will be request will be sending to that consumer's email ID automatically by default. So now in this case, create one account record inside the provider, create a related contact record inside the provider also over here. Both we have to create inside the provider only. Clearly I'm indicating here. As a step 2, create inside the provider, create an account record and a contact record. Account record is as usual same. You can enter the data. Upon creating the contact record, specify the consumer's email ID inside that the email ID field of your contact record. Because whenever I'm sending the invitation request will go to that consumer's email ID, so that the consumer will be open that email ID. They can accept the invitation from there. We can map the connection between these two. Now, in this case, how can we do that here? Now let's see. Now let me implement this as step 2. So now when you go to my consumer organization, this is the consumer organization. So how do we know the email ID? Just to go to the administrator's email ID, that's it, nothing else. Go to the manage users. Click on users here. Here we are having the user is available. Here we are having a user is available here. Now, here we are having the user is available over here. This is the user training batch 332. So now what is the email ID of this user? Just click on this particular user name. We can open the user record. He is the administrator, and then this is the email ID over here, firoz.crm@gmail.com. So I need to send this email. I would like to add this email ID inside my contact records email field. So now this is the consumer's email ID over here. The consumer's email ID, this is the email ID. So now as a step 2, go to that provider, create one account record, and then create one contact record over here. Now let me go to that provider over here. This is my provider organization right now. Go to the setup menu. Now click on accounts. Create an account record over here. Okay, create an account record. Now let me create an account record. I'm giving this account record name as, so now because that is the partner, these two are the partners over here. Okay, these two are the partners. So now Tata Telecommunication is a partner of TCS. So that I'm indicating over here. Now partner account 332. I'm indicating that here. I'm indicating that account record name as partner account 332. Account number, I'm giving some value, anything. The remaining field will be the same, no change at all. Like some technology, whatever, anything. Type, some customer direct. Email ID is my custom field over here. We don't need to enter that. We don't need to specify anything over there. Now some sample @ some gmail.com. Rating value, some heart. Phone number, I'm giving some value. Fax number, I'm using some value. Website, I'm giving some value. Ownership, I'm indicating some public. Industry, I'm indicating like some technology or some banking. Annual revenue, I'm indicating like some 25 lakhs. And the street, you can give any information. Flat number, some 111. Software units layout, some Madhapur. City, some Hyderabad. State, some Telangana. Postal code 500 country, some India. Customer priority, some high. Active status, some yes. I'm creating this record over here. This is the account record which I'm creating with the name partner account 332. Okay, because that is the partner here. Nothing but that he is also one of our partner to whom I'm going to sharing the data. Now click on save.
Feroz,
Yes.
in real-time scenario, how we will get to know the consumer's email ID to send the request?
They will share that because whatever the input that we need to collect from the consumer. Then only we can able to establish. They will provide all the information. That's what I told you. Integration is not a one man's job. Integration is a two teams job. Both the teams have to be communicate with each other. They have to inform this is what the information we need to send the invitation. Those people will provide to you. And then what information you are sharing, you have to inform to them so that they will ready to collect that information.
So before establishing, we need to share
Yes.
these basic details, right?
Yes, right, correct. We need to collect those details here.
Okay.
Now,
This one you
so
are
now,
writing in a provider
yes,
account details. Okay.
inside the provider only. Inside the provider only. That's what clearly I'm indicating inside the document also. Step by step, I will give you the navigation and I will show you the practical part also. I'm indicating where I'm implementing this provider or consumer here. Okay. Now, so in that basis, I'm indicating where I'm implementing this step, either in provider or consumer, so that you should not have any confusion over there upon doing the practice.
Okay.
Sir,
Now,
sir, in
yes,
this, do we have any restriction that we should give particular user's email ID only?
administrator user ID, that means that account's user ID. Whatever the Salesforce account they have created, that user's email ID, administrator's email ID, we need to collect.
Why? Because in roles and profiles also we have created so many development accounts and so one thing from
Right.
single one.
Not those users email ID, only that administrator's user email ID, because he is having the controlling.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, so the next one here, we are going to be creating the contact record, a related contact record. This is the account record I have created. Okay, partner account 332. I would like to create one related contact over here. So this contact is already created because here already we have implemented a workflow rule. Sorry, a process builder that has been filed already here. Now, so now let me change some values inside this. Instead of this partner account, okay, I'm indicating this. I'm indicating the first name as a partner. This is the contact. Okay, partner contact. And then title I'm indicating here. I'm giving some values for this piece. Partner contact 332. Title I'm indicating like as this is a partner. Partner. Department, this is into the telecommunication. Now lead source, like as I would like to indicate partner referral, I'm indicating. You can give any values, no problem. So now the phone number here, I'm indicating some phone number, mobile number, and the fax number, email ID. Inside this email ID, we have to provide the email ID of that, the consumer's organization email ID here. Let's go to the consumer organization. He is the administrator over here. That administrator's user's email ID need to collect. This is the email ID here. I'm collecting this email ID. Place that email ID inside this. We need the email ID, that's it. Collect the email ID here. Now make it save. Okay, now make it save. So now we have collected that here. That means here we have created one account record. We have created one contact record over here with the required information. Upon creating the contact record, okay, while creating the contact record, inside the contact record, we have to specify the consumer organization's email ID inside the contact record's email ID field. So we have prepared these records over here. Now, that means here I have collected the details to whom I would like to send the invitation. Now start inviting over here. Send the invitation as a step 3. Now, send the invitation to the consumer and map the connection. Map the connection between the organizations. So now here I'm ready to send the invitation. I haven't sent the invitation over here. Just now we have created one account record, nothing but my partner details I have collected, I have stored inside my data here. That means I'm preparing a list to whom I would like to send the invitation, okay, on the occasion of my marriage. So first of all, we are preparing a list. So these are the people, these are the relatives information to whom I need to send the invitation. These are the friends to whom I would like to send the invitation. These are my office colleagues to whom I want to send the invitation. Because here we may forget some people. That's what we're preparing the list of the people information to whom we need to send the invitation. Like the similar way here also, we are going to be collecting the partner information, nothing but the partner people's information to whom we would like to send the invitation over here. So now send the invitation by mapping that connection over here. Okay, now send the invitation by mapping that connection over here. Then how can we map this connection over here? Now let's see practically in this case. Now, so now here in this case, send the invitation request to the consumer so that the consumer can accept that invitation and they can able to establish the connection over here. Now, in this case, how can we send the invitation request here? How can we map the connection? For that one, we have to use a tab called as connections tab. Okay, we have to use a tab called as connections tab. We have to use that connections tab. Now, inside the provider. Inside the provider, now as a step 1. So what we need to do is, we have to send the invitation request to. Send the invitation request. Now, in this case, what needs to be done? Now, go to the tab bar. Go to the tab bar and click on plus symbol. Plus symbol. That means all tabs option. Click on customize my tabs button. My tabs button. Select the tab connections. There is a tab is available with the name connection. Connection is an object which has been maintaining the Salesforce internally by default in order to map the connection, secured connection between the two Salesforce organizations. To send the invitation request from one Salesforce organization to another Salesforce organization, we are using the help of an object called as connection object. Now, select the tab, connections tab, and add it. Click on save. So now we are adding the connections tab onto your tab bar. Okay, you are adding this connections tab onto the tab bar. So once the tab has been getting added, then send the invitation request. Send the invitation request by mapping the connection. By mapping the connection. Then what needs to be done in this case here? Now, in this case, as a step 1. Now, click on the connections tab. Click on the connections tab. And then click on new button to add a new connection request. A new connection request to be get sent to the consumer. To be get sent to the consumer. Next one. Select the partner account record. Partner account record by using the lookup icon. By using the lookup icon. Select the partner contact record by using the lookup icon. Click on save button. Now, so this is the account which we have created. Okay, inside the provider we have created the partner account. Partner account 332 account record name. And here we have created one contact record over here. We have created one contact record. Partner contact 332. Okay, 332. And click on save button. So now here once you click on this save button, connection request will be getting initiated. Connection request will be getting initiated. That the request invitation will be sending to that the consumer's email ID automatically by default. Why? Because is upon sending the invitation, I'm selecting the partner's account record and the contact record. In this partner's contact record, already the consumer's email ID is available. To this email ID, the connection request will be getting sent. So then how can we implement this connection request now? Let's see. Now, how can we implement that? Let me show you practically. Let's go to the consumer. So the provider. This is the provider over here. The partner contact. Is the partner contact. Now, so let's go to that. the connections tab. So many tabs are available. Now, click on this plus symbol. Click on customize my tabs. Now select the tab called as connections. There is a tab called as connections is available over here. Add that connections tab. There is a connections tab is available. Add this connections tab to the tab bar in order to establish the connection. In order to establish the connection from provider to consumer, we need to use a connections object. Click on save. Now the connections tab is available on the tab bar. It's an inbuilt functionality given by Salesforce. To establish the connection between the two Salesforce organizations, we are using the help of this connection object. Now, click on this connections tab. Now I want to create a new connection. Click on new button in order to create a new connection. So now here it is asking you to select the contact record and then account record. That means in which contact record we have specified that the consumer's email ID. That means to which email ID you want me to send a connection request, connection invitation request to whom you want me to send. So that select the account record and the respective contact record over. So now just now we have created our partner details. We have stored the partner details inside our organization. Now select that account record by using the lookup icon. What is that account record? We have created the partner account. This is the partner account record. What is the contact record? That is partner contact. Partner contact 332. Okay, these are. So now select that account record and select the contact record which you have created related to that partner. Now click on save and send invite. Okay, click on save and send invite. Now before click on this one, let me verify. For this consumer, okay, for this consumer, this is the email ID. Let me log in into the consumer's email ID over here. Let me log in into that consumer's email ID account. I'm logging into the consumer's email ID. Now, so now this is my email ID over here, consumer's email ID. Okay, this is the email ID which I have given over here. Now send the invitation request right now. Click on save and send invite. Click on save and send invite. Now, so in this case, invitation, it is indicating that invitation has been sent. Okay, invitation has been sent. Now, the consumer's email ID will be receiving the email notification regarding that invitation request. Regarding that invitation request, now the consumer's email ID will be receiving one email notification. Let's see. Now here it has it received that invitation request. Forces Incorporation has invited you to connect in Salesforce. What is this Forces Incorporation? This is my provider. My provider organization name is what? This is nothing but C. This is my provider organization. My provider organization name is what? Now let me show you. How can we know my company name? Just you can go to that manage users. Sorry, go to that administrator menu. Go to the company profile. Click on company information. This organization name is Forces Incorporation. Nothing but this is that like a TCS. Now, TCS is inviting the Tata Telecommunication. So it is sending that is indicating that Forces Incorporation has invited you. Nothing but here the person, the organization who has sent the invitation to you to connect in Salesforce. Okay, to connect in Salesforce. Now let's open this email notification. Now it is indicating that. So this is the email notification. Okay, this is the email notification. In this email notification, now it is indicating dear partner. Okay, dear partner, training batch at the Forces Incorporation has invited you to connect using Salesforce to Salesforce. Yes, Salesforce features that allows to share the records between the organizations. It is indicating over here. Now, so now here in this case here, now it is clearly indicating dear partner. So now the training batch, that means the Forces Incorporation has invited you to connect using Salesforce to Salesforce so that they can able to exchange the data. So now you can able to accept it or you can able to decline this invitation also. Now here let me copy this invitation request over here. This is the invitation request link. Let me copy and then I'm opening in that another browser. This is the browser over here. Nothing but Firefox browser I'm opening over here. Now, it is asking me to log in over here. It is asking me to log in. I'm going to be logging into my partner account over here. These are the partner account credentials you have to use to log in into that. Now, so now here we are logging into this account. So now the connection will be okay visible to you. So let's go to that connection over here. Now the connection request is visible to you over here. This is the request. So the connection Forces Incorporation has invited you. Okay, Forces Incorporation has invited your company to connect. Okay, then if you want to accept that, then you can click on accept. If you don't want to map the connection, then you can click on that decline also. If you want to decide it later, you can click on decide it later also. Now I would
So
like to
Feroz,
accept this connection over here. I would like to accept this connection. So now click on this accept button. Now the connection will be getting accepted over here. Now connection is activated right now. So between these two organizations, connection has been established. When you go to the provider, previously it is indicating connection has been sent. Now refresh this user interface over here. Now it is indicating connection is in active status right now over here. So now connection status is active. So it is indicating clearly between these two organization connection is active. Nothing but this is the connection with the company called as MNC. Nothing but here my consumer. Consumer organization name is MNC and the provider organization name is some Forces Incorporation. Now, so now between these two organizations, the primary connection has been established successfully over here. Now in this case, let me give this one.
So the data will be bidirectional or by
One direction. Okay, one direction.
okay.
Okay. So now here in this case, now as a step 4, so we are sending the invitation request to that consumer over here from the provider to consumer. Now, consumer organization should accept the invitation. Should accept the invitation. Then what we can do in this case? Now, go to the consumer organization's
Feroz,
email ID. Yes.
if you want to do this vice versa, I mean to transfer the data from subscriber to the provider, again we need to establish the whole thing, right?
Same, sir. Same step, but in the reverse process. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah, yes. Email address on the other.
Everything.
Okay.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
And open the email, and then copy the invitation request. Open in another browser. Open in another browser. Enter the credentials of the consumer organization, and click on accept button. The observation is connection will be established between the organizations, and provider can send the records and consumer can accept the records.
So can one
Accept the records.
Salesforce also can connect to multiple Salesforce servers?
Yes. Okay. From here we can connect to the multiple partners.
Okay.
Okay. Multiple partners also we can maintain. For each and every the Salesforce partner, they can able to maintain a separate connection request. That's it. Nothing else. Now, the next one. Step 5. We are done with that step 4. We have established the connection. We have accepted the connection request also. Now this particular the connection that the particular consumer is ready to accept the records as well over here. Now connection has been established. Now, so now the thing is, now the provider has to expose, because in the provider side I'm having so much data, I'm having so many objects information is available. I'm having so many objects information. Like for example, inside my TCS organization, I'm having so many objects data is there. You want me to send the whole objects data? No, I want to send only some people's information, only some customers information. I want to send it to the partner here. I don't want to send all the data. I want to send only few data to my partner. Then what we can do in this case over? Then what we can do in this case? For this reason, now the provider has to decide what objects data can be exposing to that partner. Provider should decide what objects data can be exposing to that partner over here. That means in the provider organization, we have to select the objects information which you would like to publish, which you would like to publish. That means publishing is nothing but we are exposing to that my partners here, so that the partner people can able to access my records. Then what objects data you would like to expose over here, so that we have to select that objects information which you would like to publish from the provider side, because provider is going to be providing some information. So in this case, in my provider side, I'm having so many objects are available, so much confidential data is there, but I don't want to expose the whole data because that is not right format. So I don't want to expose the whole data. I would like to expose only some information. So in this case, what objects information you would like to expose, we have to select. Those objects are called as published objects. Those objects are called as published objects over here. Then, how can we implement this one? So now here in this case, as a step 5, okay, as a step 5, we have to specify the published objects information over here. Now, in the provider organization. Now, select the required objects to be get published from provider to consumer. What objects data you would like to expose to that consumer here? Then how can we select? Now inside my provider organization, click on the connections tab. Click on the connections tab. Click on the connection name. Click on the connection name which has been established for the consumer.
Feroz, sorry to disturb you. Have you uploaded yesterday's video?
No, I will upload that today.
Okay.
Now in this case, go to the published objects section. Go to the published objects section and select the required objects to be get published. Select the objects to be get published here by using this checkboxes over here. For example, account, contact, lead, case, opportunity, hiring manager, Like that, depends upon your requirement, what objects you would like to expose. We can able to select those object names over here. And then click on save. Click on save. So now we need to expose these objects. And what objects information you would like to expose to the consumer. We have to select those object names. So inside the provider side, okay, go to the provider organization, go to the connection which you have established for that particular connect for that consumer, and then select the objects which you would like to expose. Why? Because, for example, I am the provider. For me, two partners are available. Venkat is one partner, and then Sudhir is another partner. Now here I would like to share the data to Venkat also, Sudhir also. For Sudhir, I'm passing that account record information and the opportunities information. For Sudhir, so for the Venkat, I'm passing the hiring manager and the positions information. Because these two are my partners. Okay, these two are my partners. So this partner I'm exposing some different objects information. For second partner, I'm passing some different objects information. So at that time here we have to select for this partner what objects information you would like to expose. We need to specify those objects information. Now, so then how can we specify this objects information here which you would like to publish? Let's go to the provider here. Inside the provider organization, select those objects which you would like to expose. Now, let's go to this connections tab. This is the connection which I have established over here. This is the connection which we have established, that is MNC. Now, so the connection is in active status. Now, when you come down, you will be having a section called as published objects section. Okay, published objects section. Now, click on this publish or unpublish button. Select the objects over here which you would like to publish. Publishing is nothing but exposing what objects information you would like to share. In my organization, I'm having so many objects are there. All the objects information I'm exposing. I'm not sharing all the objects data. I'm sharing only some specific objects information. That to some specific records only, not all. Now, so click on publish or unpublish button. Now it is populating the objects information. Whatever the objects are available, all the objects information will be getting populated. From this one, which objects information you would like to expose? I'm selecting some account. I'm selecting some case, contact, hiring manager, lead, opportunity, and the position. These are the objects information I would like to expose. Select this objects information here. Now click on save.
Can't we do this record wise?
We'll see. I will show you that one next one. In this object, if I'm exposing the object, means all the records in the object will not be exposed. We will share the records especially. Okay.
Okay.
Now, so now here in this case, I'm indicating that. So now I would like to expose only these objects information. Published objects means these are the objects which I'm exposing to that particular consumer. Who is the consumer? This is the consumer with the name MNC. So which we have established the connection. The connection is in active status right now over here. This is the connection, nothing but this is the consumer's email ID over here. Now, so now here in this case, these are the objects which I'm going to be exposing over here. Now, so now when you go to that partner side, nothing but consumer side, we have to accept those objects information. Okay, in the partner side, we have to accept those objects information over here. Now, so now let me go to that. When you go to the consumer side here, in the consumer side, now let's refresh this user interface. Refresh this user interface. Now it is indicating. Now subscribe the objects information. Okay, subscribe object information. Subscribe or unsubscribe. It is indicating that. So now provider has exposed some objects over here. Then we would like to accept those or not. Yes, I would like to accept that here. What objects data you would like to accept, you can decide. Fourth is incorporation. That means this is the provider. Provider is going to be exposing some objects to you, to your object, nothing but where you would like to store. So now they're exposing these objects information: account object, case object, contact, lead, opportunity, hiring manager, and the position. These are the objects the provider is going to be exposing to you. Now, whenever they're exposing that particular records, in which objects you would like to store this information? Nothing but whenever the provider is sending this object record, then which object it has to get resides. So now we can able to map. Whenever they're sending some account records, please store inside my account object over here. Whenever they're sending some case record, then please store inside my case object. That means object should be there, matching object should be there. Now, whenever they're sharing this contact record, please store inside my contact object. Whenever they're sharing this hiring manager record, please store inside my hiring manager object. Whenever they're sharing some lead record, please share inside my lead object. Whenever they're sharing that opportunity record, please store inside my opportunity object. Whenever they share the position object, position record, please store inside my position object. Now, in this case here, I'm mapping this connection. Nothing but which object record should be stored in which object here. Nothing but this is that the provider objects information, this is the consumer objects information. So this data has to be synced into this object. This data should be synced into this object. This data should be synced into this object. So we have to map that source and target over here. So now in this case, whenever the force is nothing but whenever the provider is going to be sharing one record information, one account record information, that will be coming into this particular consumer's provider for consumer's account object over here. In this case, do I need to accept that record manually in the consumer side, or it should be auto accept over here? For that one, we have to select that.
So
Guys,
what if we don't have the objects?
Sorry?
What if we don't have the objects?
Then without the object, we can't store. We have to give, because whenever somebody is giving some records, then we have to store those records in some table. So definitely we should have some table. Without the table, we can't map the connection.
No, here you have selected from account into the account, like
Yes,
how
right.
opportunity into the opportunity.
Right.
But we don't have the account. In place of account, we don't have the account.
Now, in this case, you have to create your own object, because whenever they are going to sharing some account record information, then we have to store inside some table. So you have to create your own custom table. If you don't have this account table in your consumer side, then you have to create one table in which you would like to store those account records information. Without the table, we can't hold the records.
Do we still have the fields in the
yes. Now next one fields information also. We are mapping the objects now. Next we will map the fields. Which field data should be storing in which field of this account? We have to map.
Firoz, is there any restriction for number of objects?
No, there is no restriction for the number of objects here. We can able to share whatever the objects information that you want.
Formula fields and rules and everything will be forwarded.
Sorry?
Formula fields.
The formula field values we can't pass, because here if you are passing the formula field value, then again in turn the consumer side formula will be getting generated, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what here we no need to pass those values. So that will be executing inside the consumer side automatically here.
No workflow rules, nothing will pass.
Nothing. So only that records we can pass, only the data integration, not the business logic integration, nothing.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, in POSIX INC objects, you have account object.
Okay.
In your objects, the same name it got visible, because
no, not required, not like that. Here you can select any of the object also. The selected nothing but, for example, in the 4Cs I'm having account object is there. So now inside my consumer side here I don't have any object with the name account. I'm having an object with the name customer. If in that one if you want to store, then you can decide that. That possibility is available.
Okay, do you have any possibility that all the objects visible under the drop down option?
No, it won't populate all the object names here, because it is collecting the respective standard objects. Respective object it will collect, matching object it will collect automatically here.
If I create a customized object, even then
if it is a custom object, yes, if it is a customized object, then you can able to map over here like this.
Oh, Okay, got it. Thank you.
Now,
Uh,
so now here
here,
in this case,
sir, I'm
in
trying to
this,
connect the custom objects, but I could not find that, and it is showing that no related object available.
now
Why?
you have to map that the respective column should be matched, right?
No, no. Here, hiring manager, do you have in the consumer side also? That's why
Yes,
is it
yes,
mapping?
yes.
Okay,
Not it is mapping here; it is populating over here. So now you
okay,
can select any one of that here where you want to store.
okay. But if you don't have, then those will not be shown here.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Now, so now in this case, whenever the provider is going to be exposing some account records, please store those records inside my account object. Case records in case object, contact records in contact object, hiring manager in hiring manager. That means here both will be having some similar structures. Because somebody is giving some data, then I need to store the data inside my table, so that I need some similar structure of table also from my side, so that then only we can able to store. So in this case, whenever we are mapping these connections, we can able to specify, you want me to accept the records automatically, or you want me to accept the record manually over here. So I don't want to accept manually, I would like to make it auto accept. So that whenever they're sharing the records automatically, that has to be copied into my the account object automatically. So that I'm selecting the auto accept. Select the checkbox, auto accept, so that automatically the record will be getting accepted. This will be placing inside this. Now click on save. So whenever the provider is going to be sharing the objects information or publishing those objects, now in the consumer side, I am subscribing those objects here. These are the objects which I'm going to be subscribing here. So from this object to this object, I have subscribed. Now, the next one. So now here in this case, we have subscribed this object, nothing but only this object's records we can able to collect from the provider side here. Only this object data we can able to collect from the provider side. Next. The next step over here. As of now, we have mapped the collection, we have mapped the objects. Now we have to map the fields over here. Next, as a step 6, here I'm indicating. I'm indicating. Step 6. That is a consumer side. We need to accept that. Now, subscribe the objects provided by the provider. Provided by the provider. Now, in this case, go to the consumer organization, click on the connections tab, open the connection link established from the provider. As a step 3, go to the subscribed objects section. Map the connections, nothing but map the objects from provider to consumer. For example, this is a provider, this is a consumer. We are going to be exposing this account object over here. No. Account, contact, lead, case, opportunity, hiring manager, position, like this. these objects I would like to map the connection. We have to map. And then select the checkbox over here. Select the checkbox auto accept. To make the record should be accepted by the consumer automatically. Click on save. Now, so this is the sixth step which we have implemented right now. Next, go to that step 7, the seventh step. As of now, we have published the objects that will be accepting by the consumer. Now, whenever I'm going to be exposing this account object, so in that account object, so many fields are available. So hundreds of fields may be there. We want to publish all these hundreds of field values? No, only some field values I would like to expose. So in this case, how can we distinct? Now, so that in the provider organization, we have to specify. Okay, we have to specify the fields which you would like to expose from each and every object. Now, inside the provider here, select the required fields to be get published. Published from each object which has been published to the consumer. So now we have to select that fields. From each and every object, we have to select the fields over here which you would like to expose. Now, in this case, what we can do? Go to the connections tab. And click on it. Open the connection link has been established. Go to the published objects section. Go to the published objects section. Click on edit link for the object, for the published object. For example, account, and select the required columns. Select the required fields to be get published by selecting the checkbox. By selecting the checkboxes. By selecting the checkbox, we have to select the columns information which you would like to expose. Now, next. Now, next one. Select the checkbox. Send the invitation email link. Next one. Select the checkbox. Send the related child records also. For example, whenever I'm going to be sending one account record, for that account, there might be some related contact, there might be some related opportunities, there might be some related cases are also available. In this case, upon sending that account record, you want me to send only the account record or you want me to send the related records also? So for that one, we can able to select the checkbox. We can send the related child records also aligned with the parent to the consumer. Next one. In this case. So now here we have to repeat these steps. Repeat the steps. Repeat the steps. 2 to 6. Okay, 2 to 6 to publish the fields for each object. Each published object. For each published object. That means what? So now we are exposing that object. Then from that object, what fields you are going to expose over here? We have to indicate that. Okay, we have to indicate that what fields you would like to expose. Now, then how can we implement that? Now let's see practically in this case. Now let me show you. This should be in the provider. As of now, provider has exposed the objects. Consumer has subscribed those objects. Then now provider is going to exposing the fields. Consumer has to subscribe those fields. How to do this one? Now let's see practically. So let's go to the provider side. Go to the connections. Open the connection which we have established. Go to the published objects section. You will be having this edit link is available. Edit link. So now this click on this edit link. Now in this account object here, if I'm not selecting the fields, now it is indicating. Observe this one here. It is going to be exposing only one field. Fields, which field it is exposing right now? Only one field, that is account name field it will expose. Now, so now it is indicating that as part of this account object, currently it is exposing only the account name field. In case object, only subject of the case has been exposed. In contact object, last name field has been exposed. In hiring manager, only hiring when the name field has been exposed. In the lead, two fields has been exposed. One is the last name and then company name. In the opportunity, the close date, name field, state field has been exposed. In the position name field has been exposed. But only one field has been exposed. Then what the people can understand with this field name? I need to pass the remaining fields also, right? So that here we need to select that each and every object over here. Suppose here, inside my account object, so many fields are available here. Now I want to expose some of the fields. Now, click on this edit link for that account. Now these are the fields are available inside my account object. From these fields, which field you would like to expose? Edit the published fields. What fields you would like to publish? We have to select that fields here in each and every object. By default, account name field has been selected because here it is already exposed. Apart from this account name, what are the other fields you would like to publish to that consumer here? Now we can decide that. So now I'm selecting this. So here I'm having this account of fax number, fax field, account number field, phone field, rating field, account type field, active status, annual revenue, building city, and then I would like to send the ownership. I would like to send the industry and the customer priority. And then I would like to website name. These are the various of fields which I would like to expose. Okay, these are the various of fields which I would like to expose here. So you can decide that. No need to expose the complete fields, depends upon the requirement, because inside my object there may be some confidential information may be there. It may be having some confidential information. So then all the fields I don't want to expose. Some confidential fields are there which we are using for our internal system purpose. So at that time, I don't want to expose those confidential fields. Only the required information for them, only that data I would like to expose to those people over here. Now, so in this case, we can able to expose this. We can select the fields which you would like to expose, depends upon your application requirement over here. Now click on save. As part of account object, these are the fields which I would like to expose, like as account of fax, account of number, account of phone, rating, site, type, active status, annual revenue, billing city, industry, customer priority, and the ownership, website. These are the fields which I would like to expose over here. Now click on save. Now, so now it is indicating a totally 14 fields we are exposing right now from the account object side. Like the similar, we'll repeat this step for each and every object. Okay, depends upon your requirement. I'm exposing that here. You can now edit. So now here in this case, I'm going to be using this. I would like to expose for the case object. I'm going to be exposing the case number, case origin, case reason, case type, and then case description, and the priority, status. All this information I would like to expose over here. These are the fields I would like to expose to the third party people. Now click on save. Like the similar way, when you go to my hiring manager object here, what fields? Click on edit. I want to expose the email ID and then location and then contact number. These are the fields which I would like to expose over here. Now click on OK. Like that depends upon your requirement, we can able to share. We can able to expose this information also over here. We can able to expose this information also. For example, some position. I'm going to exposing the position name and the candidates count. So the candidates count I don't want. Now the contact number, HR email ID, and then the location name, maximum budget, and then open date, number of positions, milestone date, minimum pay, position description, position status, and the skills required. These are the fields I would like to expose over here, and the reference ID. Now click on save. So these are the fields which I'm going to be exposing. Like that depends upon your requirement, we can select what fields information you would like to expose to the consumer over here. Now, so now here in this case here, we are going to be exposing this information. So now, once we have been published the app fields inside each and every object, then in the consumer side, we have to subscribe these fields over here and we have to map the fields. Now, so as a step 8 in the consumer side. Now, we need to subscribe the published fields in each object, and we have to map the fields with our local objects, local objects. Like previously we have mapped objects to object, now we have to map field to field over here. Okay, we have to map the field to field. In this case, how can we map the field to field over here? Each and every field we have to map inside this. So now here in this case here, now in this case, go to the publish the objects section inside the consumer. Now, sorry, go to the connections tab, go to the subscribe the objects section. Click on edit link for each object, each subscribed object, and map the fields from source to target. That means from provider to consumer here. Provider object field to consumer object. Like for example, Assume that I'm going to be selecting that account object. Okay, account object. And the provider. And the consumer. Inside that name field value. Okay, inside that name field value here, I would like to map. And the rating field value. Industry field value. Annual revenue field value. And then active status field value. A website field value. Like that, each and every field we can able to map. Now, I would like to map this fields information. I would like to map this fields information to the consumer objects to fields. So we have to repeat this step over here. Repeat the steps 2 to 4 to map the fields for each subscribed object. For each subscribed objects. We have to repeat this step 2 to 4 for each and every subscribed object over here. And then select that. So now select the checkbox, auto accept. Okay. Select the checkbox, auto accept over here, so that the records will be mapping. The records will be automatically accepted. To make the records to be get accepted automatically from provider to consumer. Now, so these are the steps we need to follow over here.
Firoz,
Yes.
Is that necessary in consumer side? Is it necessary to subscribe all objects which are provided by provider?
So that is not mandatory, depends upon the requirement, because here whenever we are going to be having the connection between these two organizations, both the parties will sit together, they will decide what information they need. Based on that, they will be exposing and they can consume that. In future, if the consumer needs some more additional fields, then they will inform to that provider, we need this information also additionally. So then they will expose those fields, they will publish those fields, and they can able to accept it as well. So because in the before starting the integration itself, they will be sitting together, they are going to be deciding what fields information they need to go ahead. So based on that, the provider will be publishing those objects and those fields, and the consumer will be accepting those. Okay. But it's not mandatory. If the publisher is going to be exposing so many, it's not mandatory to accept all the fields here. Only whatever the field that you want, you can accept it. Leave it remaining, you can leave it, no problem.
Means
That
it won't throw any error.
No, it won't provide any error over here.
Sir?
No.
Sir, small note.
Yes.
Yeah. With respect to the fields, both provider and sender, we have to maintain the same data type and same size of the
right, that's it. Field name need not be the same, just the data type of the field and the length of that field should be same.
How can we know that for this field the data type is some?
That's what in the initial okay analysis itself we have to identify what fields they are exposing, what type of fields they are exposing over here, what is the length of those fields. We need to analyze. That's what here I told you here. So initially itself they have to decide how many fields they are exposing from that object, what object field they are exposing, what data type fields they are exposing, what is the length of that, what is the data type of that. Based on that, we have to prepare that structure inside our organization. That should be discussed with them. Yeah. Yeah. We will be
the document or
yes, right. Yes, right. because both the parties will sit together. They are going to be agreeing that this is what we are exposing, this is what you are consuming, this is the data type over here. So based on that, they're preparing a documentation. In that documentation, they will be clearly mentioning that these are the data types of this field. Because without the data type, how can we store that information? That is very, very difficult. So that's what here they will be agreeing upon that. This is a analysis part we have to do during integration. That's what I told you in the starting classes itself. Yesterday itself, I told you that. So integration is not a one-man's job. It's a two teams' jobs. Both the teams has to sit together. They have to identify what is the input they need, what is the output they are providing to us. Like that here, they would like to sit together. They have to discuss over there.
Which means everything is provided by provider only. Like
yes,
these are
right.
all the data type. Okay.
Yes,
okay,
right.
sir. Thank you.
So are these fields editable, or we can make them read only also?
No. So this will be editable also. In the consumer side, you can edit the fields.
Okay, we cannot provide them read only, just to have the values.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Now, so now let's see how can we make this field to be field mapping inside my consumer side. Let's go to the consumer organization. Go to that, subscribe the objects section. Open that object here, account object. In that one, only one field has been subscribed as of now, only the account name. Now click on edit. The same concept is available, field mapping here. So now here in this case, these are the fields that are going to be exposing from the account object here from the provider side. Provider is going to exposing these are the fields. Now where these fields you would like to map here, in which field data you would like to store in which field, because account name is default mapping. So remaining fields information where you would like to map. If you want to map manually, then you can select. Or else there is an option called as auto map. Like as when you go to the data loader, like the similar way here also we are having an option called as auto map. In the data loader also we did the similar kind of options here. Whenever you are mapping the fields between Excel sheet column to that your update fields, we are using auto match fields. Checkbox is available. So that will be mapping automatically. Like the similar way here we can able to do. Or else if you want to map manually, then you can map over. So now because here also the objects are same, fields are also same. These are standard fields, so we no need to map manually. So I selected that auto map fields, it is mapping automatically by default. Now click on save button. Like that, repeat these steps. Okay, repeat the steps. For the case object also. Click on this edit. These are the fields that are exposing over here. Auto map these fields over here. Now the case number I am not going to storing anywhere because here case number is what auto number field. Here case number I can't select. Why? Because here the value will be generating by your Salesforce automatically. So like this here, this is the auto number field. Auto number fields, formula fields, roll-up summary fields, created by, last modified by, ID field. These fields information we can't store inside this fields over here. Why? Because here it is generating automatically. We no need to store these values over here. Because here the auto number format may be different, here auto number format may be different. So that here it won't accept that. Now click on save. Next one, hiring manager. Click on edit that hiring manager object. Now map the fields over here. Auto map. So now here we are mapping this. Location field is not available over here. So now here we are having email ID field and the contact number field is available, which I'm going to mapping inside this. This is the phone type. This is also phone type. This is the email type. This is the email type over here. Now click on save.
Sir, beside field values, there is like edit values. Are we editing the inside values or the field names?
Which one?
Just before the first one, account object.
No. Edit value in the sense?
No. The after you did the auto map fields.
Okay.
Yes, there is an edit value.
In the position status here. In this position status here, you are having some set of values are available. Here the values and here values may be different. At that time, if you want to change these values, this is the quickest field, right? That's what here it is having some different options over there. If you want to change this option, then you can change. Depends upon your requirement.
Thank you.
Okay.
Firoz, can we take the lookup value?
Sorry.
Lookup value or master detail value here?
No, we can't take up that over here. Why? Because if I'm taking up the lookup value, what will happen? So now in my provider, lookup ID, lookup record, lookup value means what? It is the ID of the parent. But here this is a different organization. Here ID will be different, right? So that ID will not be mapping over here. Okay, organization to organization, IDs will be different. Object IDs are different for custom objects over here. For custom object, record IDs are different because record ID will be unique across all the organizations. Across all the organization region servers, record ID is always unique. Now click on save this one. So now we have mapped the connection between these objects. We have mapped the connection between the fields also over here. So now, then the next one. Now we are ready with the setup. Now we need to share the records over here. Now we are ready with the setup. Now we have to share the records over here. Then how to share the records over here? Now let's see practically. How to share the record from the provider to consumer. Okay, now let's see. Next, the step 9. Step 9 in the provider side. Share the records to the consumer by using external sharing button. By using this external sharing button. How can we share? Now let's see practically. In this case, go to the published objects tab. Go to the published objects tab. For example, account. Expand the force.com quick access menu. Or else you can able to go to the edit option over here, because we need to add one additional button, additional related list on your the tab. Now, so now here in this case here, click on new button. Click on force.com quick access menu and expand it. And then click on edit layout link. Go to the page layout editor. Go to the always visible control. Always visible control on the top of the editor. Select the option related list from the left panel. And then add the related list. External sharing onto the account page layout. And then click on save button. Now 91. Repeat the steps. So 1 to 8 for all the published objects, and add the external sharing related list onto the objects page layout. Page layout. Here's the step 9. Now, in this case, we have to add as a step 10 from the provider side. Share the record. Share the record. Now let me show you how can we add this related list. It's just a page layout customization, nothing else. Just to go to the provider. I'm done with the required setup. I want to share some records over here. If you want to share this record, okay, if you want to share this particular record over here, if you want to share this record, then we need one additional button over here. Then how can we share? Now let me show you. In this case, just you can add one related list onto this particular page layout. So let's go to that account layout. Click on edit layout button. Now, we are having the related lists are available. Only the contacts, cases related lists are available. Now we need to add one more related list. Go to the always visible control on the top of the editor. Go to the related lists option in the left panel. You will be having one option called as external sharing related list. This will be getting available whenever we are going to be mapping the connection between the two Salesforce organizations by using Salesforce to Salesforce settings. In the remaining cases, this option will not be visible to you. This related list will not be visible to you. Now just you can drag and drop. Drag and drop. Add this relational sharing related list onto your page layout. Now click on save. Like the similar way, whatever the published objects are available on those layouts, you have to make these changes. For the hiring manager object also, we have to add that related list. Go to the page layout customization. Click on edit layout. Go to the page layout customization. I would like to add one related list. You will be having one related list that is called as external sharing that has been added automatically over here. Now click on save. Like the similar way, we have to add this related list on your objects. Whatever the objects information you would like to share, okay, for those objects page layout, we need to add this related list that is external sharing. And then from there you can share the record over here. How to share the record? Now let's see practically in this case. This is my consumer. In the consumer object, I'm having some hiring manager records. How many hiring manager records are available? I'm having only two, Vamsi Krishna and then Vaishnavi. These are the two records are available over here. Okay, these are the two records are available. Now I want to share one additional record from my provider. Provider is going to sharing some records over here. Go to the provider organization. Here I'm having so many records are available. Get these records. Now let me place. I'm adding these fields over here. Location value, contact number, email ID. Now, so these are the records are available over here. So now here I'm having the some record is available, some Rakesh Kumar. This is the Rakesh Kumar record is there inside my provider. In my provider, I'm having the Rakesh Kumar record is available over here. But in the consumer, we are having only two records. Vamsi Krishna, Vaishnavi. Only two records are available here. Let's go to the provider, share this record. How to share this record? Open this record over here. You will be having this section, external sharing section. Click on forward this hiring manager. Nothing but forward this record. To whom? To one of my partner. So who is that partner? Currently we are having the connection with this partner over here, that is MNC. This is a partner here. Add this a partner. Send the email notification. That means once the record has been sent to that partner, then you want me to send the email notification or not? Yes, I want to send the email notification. So now, if there is any related position records are available, you want me to send the related position records or not? Yes, please forward this. I'm forwarding this hiring manager along with this position records to this particular partner, that is MNC. Like for example, when you go to the TCS, TCS is one of the very big organization. So to recruit the employees for the TCS, so many consultancies are working. So many consultancies, those are called as vendors, those are called as partners, who are working for TCS. Whenever TCS needs any resources, any employees, then those positions information they are sharing to the partners. Okay, they're sharing to the partner. Those partners are going to be finding out the suitable candidates for those particular positions over there. In this case, what needs to be done? They are going to be sharing only the required information to the partners, nothing but to the consultancy people. Those consultancy people or the agency people are going to be finding out the suitable candidates, and they are going to be sending for the interview process. Like that, here we can able to share. So now I would like to share this Rakesh Kumar record to my partner, that is MNC. They will take care of that. So now click on. Okay, now before that, let me go to that email notification. So now let's see. So now click on save button. As soon as once you click on that save button, it is indicating that Rakesh Kumar record will be sending to that the partner. Partner will be receiving that Rakesh Kumar record. It will be automatically accepting. We no need to accept that record. Generally, if I'm not selecting auto accept, it will be indicating to you, it will giving a pop-up message when record is waiting for your acceptance. If you want to accept, then you can accept that. Now, refresh this user interface. Now we have received this Rakesh Kumar record also. So now Rakesh Kumar record also we have received over here. It is indicating this hiring manager is externally shared. It was received from the client, nothing but the consumer, so the provider, that is Forces Incorporation. So now through your company's Salesforce to Salesforce connection and so on. It is indicating. So this is the hiring manager record which we have received. For this one, if there is any positions are available, some related position, those also we can able to receive those records as well. Okay. But here we don't have any mappings over here, so that it is not displaying this information. So now it is indicating that. So this is the record which has been received from the provider. So we no need to integrate that manually by using some coding. Just by using the configuration itself, we can able to do that. We can extend the data. Now, for example, I'm going to be sharing one more record from my provider here. Like I'm having DML HR record 500. Now I would like to share. I'm going to be sharing that.
Do we need to share individual records to the provider?
Yes, sir. Yeah, individual records we need to share. There is no process for the bulk records manual.
Okay, so it can't be the real-time integration also, like after the integration, after like the requirement, based on the requirement, we need to share the records.
If you want to go with the real-time integration, then we have to go with the web services.
Even with okay.
With the web services, we can go with the real-time integration. That means if I'm creating over here, automatically it will be creating there also, like that.
Okay.
Now, so now I would like to share this record. So DML HR record 500. This is the record I want to share with the partner MNC. Now click on save. So now automatically the record will be getting shared. When you go to the partner, you can able to see that information. Get the records. Now we can able to see that record also. It will be accepting the record as it is. You will get that record information. It is taking some time to get those records. So we have received that record also, DML HR record 500. So automatically it will be accepting the record. It is indicating now this record has been shared by that so and so provider. Like the similar way, we can able to share that account records also. Depends upon your requirement. We can share the account records, contact, positions, any object record also we can able to share. This is how we are going to be mapping the connection between these two Salesforce organizations just by using the configuration features, and then we can able to share the record from the provider to consumer. If you want to send the information back from consumer to provider, similar steps we have to map out. Because the consumer may be forwarding some different object records so that they can able to share with the different fields also.
But
This is the way we can able to map.
Controller won't have any consumer won't have any control on the data that provider is sending, right?
No, they will be having the full control on this record. They can do whatever they want. So now this is the consumer over here. So whatever the record they have received, so now they can able to get this record here. They can able to perform the operations. They can change these values. They can able to remove this also. So now they can able to remove this also.
When provider is sending the data, I don't want the data to be accepted. I want whatever the records. I'm happy with that. So
sorry,
I'm not expecting any external sharing from the provider. Then do the consumer have any control to decline that?
That's what here. If they don't want to decline that, then you can specify auto accept.
Okay.
If they're selecting auto accept, then only automatically record will be accepted. Or else it will be giving the option to you. You want to accept or you want to decline. Until you are not accepting that, record will not be coming into the consumer.
Okay, that is only for the first time it happened. The email notification or invitation when we get, we did that. It means whatever the provider sending the external sharing, automatically will come and sit in our record.
Right? Yes. Automatically it will be coming over here.
Okay, that we don't have any control to ignore the data, right?
No, we can't. We don't have any control to ignore the data here. Because the record will be coming into your object. From there, if you want to process, then you can process, or else you can leave it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is the way we are going to mapping the Salesforce to Salesforce integration inside your Salesforce instances without writing any code, just by using some configuration features.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, we send only as a records only for integration this part only. So we send application like our object like.
No, not like that. Because that is like as a deployment. Objects, applications are like as deployment. So the deployment separate. Integration means it may be anything. It may be any application, any integration you can take it. Integration means they're exchanging the data. That's it.
Only data. Okay.
Only data, not the application, not the objects, nothing. Only data they will extend.
Is bulk record possible here? Like
No, there is no bulk record processing here. Only one record at a time. One by one, we need to process.
Programming also we can't do, right?
No, programming also we can't do that. If you want to go with the programming, then we have to go with the web services.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll see in the web services how can we do that here. Real-time integration and then schedule integration also. How to do the schedule integration by using bash programming, and then how can we do that real-time integration through REST web services. We'll see practically as well. Okay.
In connections, how is the provider and consumer both will be separated, or in the same connections only, sir?
Same connection in the sense?
In connections tab, we have providers and consumers, right?
Right. Yes.
How they are separated?
Because both are two different organizations.
In connections tab, we have like we are taking the information from other organization and giving data to other organization.
Right.
So we are consumer to one organization, and we are provider to another organization.
Provider is going to be sharing the data to one or more number of consumers also in a single shot. We can map the multiple connections. For each and every consumer, a separate connection we have to establish.